What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing our predictions for the conference championships for the 2021 NFL playoffs. You know, it's crazy. We're only down to 4 teams. You know, we're only a game away from the Super Bowl. It's pretty crazy. The season has just flown by. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. So the first game is the game you're seeing in the gameplay here. It is the NFC Championship between the Green Bay Packers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game is, you know, if you asked a fan before the season what the NFC Championship game was going to be, they probably would have said this matchup. I, for one, was not sold on the Buccaneers, and I still don't think I am, and obviously I'll get into that in just one moment. But first off, I just wanted to say that the Packers are, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC. I think they're definitely deserving of being in the championship. And I feel like the Buccaneers really only turned it up in the last half of the season. You know, not even the last half, like the last few games of the season against weaker teams and then in the playoffs as well. But they also got to play Washington with a backup quarterback. And then the Saints with Drew Brees having a terrible game, you know, he threw like 3 interceptions. Which, you know, was partly good DB play and, you know, linebacker play and the guys that got the ball turned over to them. But also it was because Drew Brees was just having a shit night, really. And so I'm just not entirely sold on the Buccaneers, and to start the season was not, and I was really not a fan of their business strategy. You know how they just signed everyone, you know, Brady and Gronk and Fournette and Brown and McCoy. And, yeah, it was just, there were so many people they signed, and I was just so disappointed. You know, you hate to see a team do like that. It's kind of like what the Padres are doing in baseball right now, where they're just trading for everyone and signing everyone and just building up everyone for no reason. And, you know, at least the Padres are going with younger guys that have potential. Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just using guys that are like 30 or older, and they're kind of screwing over their future, if I'm being honest here. They don't have a lot of young guys that they can build the team around. You know, like Godwin, if they keep him around, a couple offensive linemen, and, you know, Devin White and a couple DBs, and that's about it. I mean, defensive line, not really. I mean, maybe Vita Vea, you know, who knows what's going to happen with this whole team in a couple years. It's hard to say. You know, I'm not a fan of that strategy. I'd rather build a team, you know, that's, you know, gonna have a chance every year than do a win now, you know, sign everyone and then we're screwed in a couple years because we're strapped for cash and don't have anyone left. Because I have a feeling that that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be like the last time Tampa Bay went to, and in that case won the Super Bowl, where they won it and then essentially just faded into obscurity after that. You know, I believe because, you know, this year's the first year they've made playoffs since 2007, so that should tell you the drop-off, you know, after that point. Tampa made the Super Bowl and won in 2003, I believe it was, the 2002 season, and, you know, it just resulted in them dying out, and obviously they didn't even have the same strategies they do now. I think it's going to happen much quicker, and, you know, I'm just not a big fan of that, and now I will give them credit. They have been playing pretty well recently. I'm still not sold that they can beat the Packers, though, honestly. I just think that Aaron Rodgers is a dangerous man, especially with, in my opinion, now the best receiver in the league. You know, I was on the DeAndre Hopkins train for a long time, and, you know, I still am. I love the guy, and it's not like he did anything wrong, but Devontae Adams has swayed my opinion into believing that he is the best receiver in the NFL. He's definitely top 3. I think the top 3 receivers are interchangeable, and I think it's Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, and DeAndre Hopkins, but that's just me, you know. And just the combination of Rodgers and Adams is ridiculous, you know, and they also have Aaron Jones, a really solid running back. They have a pretty good defense. The Packers are built to win, and I don't think that they're, you know, kind of curse, I guess, of deeper playoff games like divisional and championship rounds. I don't think that's going to continue. I think that they're going to break that cycle. I think they're finally going to make it back to the Super Bowl after a decade. You know, it's arguably the Packers should have been a dynasty, you know, but it just never was meant to be, I guess. And I do think that they're going to beat the Buccaneers here. You know, the Buccaneers, they have a lot of upside, don't get me wrong. You know, the receiving core is amazing. They have a pretty solid defense. But I just think the way Aaron Rodgers was able to slice and dice the Rams defense, which was the number 1 in terms of yards, I think he can definitely do that against the Buccaneers. Now, the point that a lot of people bring up is that these two teams played each other in the regular season, and it did not end well for Rodgers. It was easily his worst game of the season, threw 2 interceptions and stuff. I just don't think that's going to happen again. I think playoffs is a completely different animal. Not saying that, people aren't playing to win as much during the regular season, because they definitely are. Especially Aaron Rodgers is, he's just that type of guy. He's always playing to win. But, my point is that, everything's on the line. He's going to play, he's going to be safer with his throws. He's not going to, throw a throw that's going to, potentially result in a turnover if he can help it. He's less likely to make those mistakes. He'll probably, opt to take a sack or, run one instead of just throwing it, and throwing caution to the wind and potentially throwing an interception. I don't think Rodgers is going to do that. That's not a thing he usually does anyway. I think it's going to be even less so, in this game. I just think at the point in Rodgers' career, and the way the team is around him, the team is really young compared to him. And I just think that, he needs to go out with a win here. And I think that he's going to. And I do think the Packers are going to beat the Buccaneers here. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. But I do think that the Packers are going to win this game. Okay, so now for the AFC Championship. Arguably the more divisive game. I'm going to go with the unpopular route, So Patrick Mahomes, as of today, which is Friday again, has been cleared through the concussion protocol. And he'll be active for Sunday, right? So everyone is saying, oh, well, that means the Chiefs are going to win. Okay, now, hear me out. No, they're not. All right, so I'll obviously go deeper than that, but I just think that the Bills are getting overlooked here. The Bills are such a good team. I think arguably the most well-rounded because, most well-rounded team in the league is what I'm trying to say. Maybe the Saints are probably out there too. But, in terms of, how fluid their offense is and how powerful their defense is, I just feel like this team is not being hyped up enough, I think that the Chiefs have genuine weaknesses. They keep winning their games, barely, and I know the Browns one doesn't really count because Mahomes was concussed and missed most of the last part of the game. So Chad Henne had to come in clutch. But the thing is, the regular season, they had, 7 straight games where they won by, 1 score. And it was just not good at all. I think that they have genuine weaknesses, and I think if any team's going to exploit those, it's the Bills. They've bested some of the best teams in the league this year, and I just think that, their defense, especially their secondary, is going to give Mahomes a headache. And Mahomes has struggled against good defenses this year. When they played Miami, he threw 3 interceptions. Yes, they still won, but that was more so because Miami's offense couldn't get anything going. And so my point is that Mahomes playing against really good defenses this year hasn't fared well. And this is a matchup that, it happened this year, I believe. And, the Chiefs barely won. It was an interesting matchup, but I just think with the stakes on the line and, it sucks that the Bills don't get home field advantage, but, the Chiefs are the 1 seed, and Arrowhead is not an easy place to win at, but you got to remember the Raiders did it. And I know it's a division game, those can kind of go either way. But I just feel like, again, the Bills are getting overlooked here, and I just think that they have, they have the intangibles needed to beat the Chiefs, which I think aren't as crazy as people, make it out to be. I think that the Chiefs are definitely very beatable. And I think the Bills are going to do it, and that the Super Bowl matchup will be between the Bills and the Packers. Now, how that game will go, obviously, we'll get into that next week, or not next week, the week after that, my bad. I'll discuss who I think is going to win that and, how that's going to go. That'll be an interesting episode. But as for this game, I do think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs. And, you can think whatever you want. That's just how I feel. I think that the Bills have a really good shot of winning this one. Especially, their run game is going to be down because they don't have Zach Moss anymore. And, Devin Singletary wasn't that great this year. But the thing is, it's Josh Allen, especially with the Chiefs have a pretty good secondary, but I don't think it's good enough to outclass Stephon Diggs. Some of the best secondaries in the league couldn't do that. And the Bills secondary, I think, is going to outclass Mahomes. Maybe not a lot. Maybe he won't throw 3 picks in this game, but I think that they're going to slow him down enough to the point where the Bills offense will be able to take over. So I do think the Bills are going to win this game and that they'll play the Packers in the Super Bowl. That matchup will be really interesting if it does come true. But we'll have to see what happens this weekend. So hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as well as follow me on Instagram using the link in the description. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks with a new video. I'll try to have another project out in the next week, in between previews, since the Super Bowl is not for another 2 weeks. So if you guys have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.